When we look back at everything that has unfolded around Willow, Nina, and Drew, we realize there is no clean way to separate one action from another. Every choice connects, every secret overlaps, and every lie stacks on top of the previous one until the weight becomes impossible to ignore. As viewers who have followed General Hospital closely, we feel that the story is approaching a breaking point. The tension no longer comes from wondering if the truth will come out, but from guessing how explosive it will be when it finally does. And when we say truth, we are not talking about one single revelation, but a chain reaction that could dismantle the moral standing of all three of them. We begin with Nina, because her actions sit at the center of this slow-burning storm. Nina has always justified herself by saying she was protecting someone, usually Willow, sometimes herself. But intentions stop matching when the methods become criminal. Nina's decision to approach Brennan and ask him to obtain the footage of Willow standing outside Drew's house on the night of the shooting is not a small mistake or a moment of poor judgment. It is calculated, deliberate, and dangerous. She knew exactly what she was asking for. That footage is evidence connected to a violent crime, and by trying to control it, Nina crossed a line that cannot be explained away by fear or maternal instinct. We have to be honest with ourselves here. If that footage surfaces and Nina's involvement is exposed, prison is not an exaggerated consequence. It is a likely outcome. Asking someone else to retrieve or suppress evidence tied to a shooting places Nina in a position of legal jeopardy that she cannot talk her way out of. And this is where the story becomes even more unsettling. This is not Nina's first secret. She has a long history of withholding information, manipulating narratives, and deciding on her own what others deserve to know. Hypothetically, even if she manages to dodge consequences for this specific act, the accumulation of her past deceptions makes it increasingly hard to believe she can escape forever. We sense that Nina herself knows this. There is a desperation in her recent moves, a tightening of control that often appears right before someone loses it entirely. She is no longer simply reacting. She is preemptively covering her tracks. That alone suggests she believes exposure is not only possible, but imminent. And when secrets start to collapse, they rarely fall one at a time. One truth drags another into the light, and Nina has too many shadows behind her. Then there is Drew, whose recent actions force us to confront a darker version of him than many fans once wanted to believe existed. Drew's moral downfall did not happen overnight. It has been gradual, marked by moments where he chose self-preservation over humanity. The clearest and most unforgivable example remains the night Ned suffered a heart attack. We cannot gloss over this, because the severity of that decision defines who Drew has become. Ned was in distress, struggling to breathe, clearly experiencing a medical emergency. Drew knew it. Anyone would have known it. Yet Drew chose to walk away. He chose not to call 911. He chose silence over saving a life. The cause of Ned's heart attack is already well known to fans, which makes Drew's inaction even more disturbing. This was not ignorance or confusion. It was a conscious refusal to help. That single decision should haunt Drew forever, regardless of whether Ned survived. And yet, instead of remorse, we saw Drew continue down a path of manipulation. His bribery of a nurse in Germany is another example that cannot be minimized. By paying the nurse to tell Willow that Michael did not want to see her, Drew directly interfered with Willow's emotional state at a vulnerable time. He weaponized misinformation for his own agenda, isolating Willow and deepening her sense of abandonment. This was not done out of love. It was done out of control. What makes Drew especially dangerous is that he presents himself as rational and justified. He convinces himself that every immoral act serves a greater purpose. But that mindset is exactly what allows people to commit the worst betrayals without flinching. And the show has made it clear that Drew has caused trouble for others beyond these incidents. We strongly believe that more of his secrets are waiting to be uncovered. Possibly, someone he underestimated will speak up. Possibly, one loose and will refuse to stay buried. Whatever the trigger, his past is not as hidden as he thinks. And then there is Willow, whose transformation over time has been one of the most unsettling arcs to watch. We do not need to spend much time rehashing everything Willow has done, because fans have seen it unfold in real time. What we need to do instead is confront what it all adds up to. Willow is no longer just a victim of circumstance. She is an active participant in harm. The suggestion that Willow may be the one who shot Drew is not something we take lightly. Based on what has been revealed on General Hospital, the possibility feels disturbingly real. If that turns out to be true, it will permanently alter how Willow is perceived. Shooting someone is not an impulsive mistake that can be forgiven with tears and apologies. It is an act of violence that carries lasting consequences, both legally and morally. But even before that night, Willow's behavior showed cracks that many ignored for too long. Her decision to follow Sasha, and even more disturbingly, Sasha's daughter Daisy, at the Quartermain mansion was a clear violation of boundaries. That was not concern. That was surveillance. That was obsession. Sasha felt unsafe enough to leave town to protect her child, and that fact alone should have set off alarms for everyone around Willow. We have to ask ourselves what kind of person inspires a mother to flee in fear for her child's safety. Willow's actions created that fear. Whether she acknowledged it or not, the damage was done. And yet, Willow rarely shows true remorse. She reacts when confronted, but she does not reflect. She explains. She deflects. She justifies. That pattern mirrors Nina more than Willow would probably care to admit. When we look at Nina, Drew, and Willow together, the question of custody becomes unavoidable. Do these three individuals have the moral standing to fight for Wiley and Amelia? We believe the answer is no. Not now, and possibly not ever. Raising children requires stability, accountability, and the ability to put others first. None of them have demonstrated those qualities consistently. What is most troubling is not just what they have done, but how they feel about it. There is a lack of genuine regret. There is no deep acknowledgement of the pain inflicted on the Corinthos family or the Quartermain family. Instead, there is entitlement. There is the belief that they are owed forgiveness without having earned it. Wiley and Amelia deserve better than to grow up surrounded by secrets, lies, and unresolved trauma. They deserve a home where truth is not something to fear. We believe that Michael, despite his own flaws, represents the safest and most stable option for them. He has been consistently focused on their well-being, not on controlling narratives or hiding evidence. Hypothetically, even if Nina, Willow, or Drew were to express remorse tomorrow, words would not erase the danger they have already introduced into these children's lives. Trust, once broken at this level, cannot be rebuilt quickly. And children should not be used as emotional anchors for adults who refuse to face their own wrongdoing. As we reach this point in the story, our hope is simple but firm. We hope the truth comes out fully, not selectively. We hope it comes out in a way that cannot be manipulated or reframed. We hope that consequences follow, not out of revenge, but out of necessity. Because without consequences, these patterns will repeat. We believe that Wiley and Amelia should remain with Michael, where their lives are not shaped by secrecy and fear. We believe that Nina, Willow, and Drew need to face what they have done before they can claim any moral authority over anyone else's future. And as fans, we will be watching closely, knowing that the reckoning feels not just possible, but inevitable.